It's a Friday. I don't have perfect sound quality in my ears. It's Anytime with Ken and Alden. I'm Ken, that's all.
I have perfect sound quality as I listen to the dulcet tones of your voice.
Oh, good. Tell me if it sounds good. It's so hot in the studio that I'm switching to the drummer's monitors, which create this extra wire hanging from my ear. If you're on the podcast version, be thankful you don't see my weird alien ears.
And you know it's hot because you're not an inner ear headphone person, I will say. This is big for you.
I actually kind of prefer this for the look now, but this, I guess if I was a drummer, this would sound good, but everything sounds tinny, and that's why I can't tell if you're too hot or the music's too hot, and then sometimes it ends up the music's too low, but it's so loud in my ears. It is a podcaster nightmare in my brain right now, Alden.
Well, man, it's okay because unlike us, most of the people on the internet, as we've learned, don't care. You could have a camera up in the corner with a Twitch chat going on the side of people doing their own little memes. You could be in your pajamas. You could be doing whatever, and no one cares. We care too much.
I'm Osvetnik's do turn on the AC. I'm just not against Ethan Osvetnik. This curtain is covering my AC, and the AC's from 1985. Could not broadcast. Literally could not.
Is it literally from 85?
No, I'm not joking. It's literally. Well, I can't see it, but it's literally from 1985.
Like a wall, a nice window unit.
When we moved in, I had central air. I had central air for the first 22 years of living in LA, and the last 6 years I've had all these wall units. It's a personal hell. I don't know how they do it in London without AC units because they just stick ice in their walls or whatever they do over there with Charlie.
With Charlie. The only British person. The way we talk about it, he'd be the only citizen.
I had dinner with our buddy Matty Gunner from the UK. He was out there. We went to a steakhouse with our friend Dan and I on Wednesday. Thank you, Matty, for treating me to dinner. And he was like, "How many names have you given? Charlie?" I was like, "I've lost count." Charlington, Worthington, Myerson.
Charlington, Worthington.
Yeah.
The Merson. But the thing is that his full name, Merson Wright Ashby, that already sounds made up.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Named after two football players, as it turns out. He was named for his family fandom. Arsenal fans.
But the second tier sport with the word football in it. Yeah, got it.
Wow.
Okay, cool.
Relax. Let me check the demographics of the chat here to see how angry people are going to be at that.
I've always said this. Football, as you all call it, would not be the number one sport in the world until America says it is, and we have not said it is. Sorry. It's just the way of it.
Is that the last dominion that we have that people will respect our opinion?
And I don't care how many people show up in Brazil, how many ratings the World Cup. It's an inferior sport. It's such an you're kicking a ball around. Great. Good.
So what you're confirming here,
stoppage time. Great.
What you're confirming here for the record is that Ken Knapsack will not be present at any World Cup games that take place in California.
If I need to take a nap, I'll stay at home. Come on now.
Okay.
What are we doing?
All right.
What are we doing here? All
right. And I guess and not at Olympic soccer either. When you guys have the Olympics.
I played soccer for 3 years. No AYSO, which is the youth soccer here in America. No this, no that, no Olympics. No
Natalie Portman's team. She owns a team there, right?
Okay, well now you're talking about a different angle.
Yeah. Is Natalie there? Did she invite you personally? These are the things that are factoring strongly into the decision.
Is it 2002 Natalie, where you wouldn't be allowed to be around her? Is it late Nat? I don't know. It's good. Yeah.
Is this Black Swan winning the Oscar Natalie? Arguably, maybe the peak of her powers, but I don't know.
Hey, look, David, I like American football that never has stops. It's not the stoppage. It's like the fact that they have this stoppage time is just this like, I don't know. We figured there's some more time in the game. Let's just go for it. Oh my God. It's the worst sport in the world. All right. Let's go ahead and dive into what we're talking about here, Alden. We got a lot on the mind, but I don't remember what we're talking about today. You and I actually talked
Let's
about
dive into these topics that I have somewhere here.
no, you
we
and
did.
I
We have a few things
you
on
and
the dock.
you and I didn't just text. We actually chatted, which was worse, Alden,
Physically,
because
verbally.
yeah, verbally we chatted. We actually like on a StreamYard because we recorded Force Center's episode, which is out today. Han Solo's Why We Love Star Wars. Please give it some love. But that was bad, Alden, because I went to make the thumbnail last night and I couldn't remember what we chatted about, and I had no record of it. So I was like, I have no idea. So I was like, I should text Alden. But you were on the Bombad show last night, which I think the stream was 6 hours and 32 minutes, and I watched most of it. It just wrapped, and I watched most of it, and I was like, well, I can't text him now.
What's funny, because I was about to go to sleep last night after the stream, and I thought to myself, oh, we didn't do our normal Thursday check-in about the title or whatever. And I had the thought of, well, we talked about it, so I'm sure he remembers. So if he didn't remember, he would have asked. And then early this morning when I was in a fugue state, because when you wake up but you don't get out of bed, I do that about 6 times before I finally get out.
6:30 this morning I woke up. I didn't get out of bed till 8. I bed rotted, as the Gen Zers are calling it.
Bed rotting. Well, we also have brain rotting, which I guess sometimes go hand in hand.
Yes.
For your brain rot. But brain rot can also be a noun. It's a complicated thing. But yeah, we have a few things to talk about. One thing that we said we would do that we did successfully achieve already is just opening up by just talking and just having no welcome to the show, blah, 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 because I guess we're dinosaurs in that way. So here we are. We're just letting y'all in.
Yeah. Also, one of the things on my mind this week was I put it in the thumbnail, the terminally offline, and it's just with everything. And by the way, that quote, everything going on, is such a as Cersei Lannister would say, a nice way of putting it, such a pleasant way of describing it. But I found that phrase has emerged a lot between me and people in my real life. Where I run, at a comedy show, how you going? Well, with everything going on, that all aside, and it's just putting all the stuff into the bucket where you wake up and I have not here to defend John Bolton, who is had his house searched under some of the rules he helped establish with the Patriot Act under Bush too. You and I talk about there is too much sometimes, and it's okay. And I want the caveat, and all jokes about football and soccer aside, you're all horribly wrong about soccer as a sport, and I just can't deal with it today. But outside that stuff, being serious here.
Send us some emails if you want to complain about that. But right now, we're doing something else.
I don't know how to tell people that I'm the only one who's right. I don't know how to tell people that sometimes. Anyways,
story of my life.
All that aside, the caveat being, if you need to step away, or you want, you take a week off, or you don't look at the news today, that's to me not unplugging. That's to me not being offline. That is just the reality of the time we're in. And you could start. You don't even need to rank it. This isn't a depth chart of problems where you'd start in. I don't know. I think Gaza is the first thing to turn your stomach every day, and then this, and then the troops and the National Guard, and this, and Trump on patrol, and all these things, and it just slides on down. Bolton perhaps being a test case for who else they're going to search now, just because. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about the folks. Do you have folks in your life? And I put on the picture a generic, I think I stole it from Shutterstock, quite frankly, a generic boomer picture. But they're not offline because, I just can't take it. They're offline because that's not how they live their life. Yeah. And so that you can kind of function for a certain degree. If you want to look up a word in a dictionary, you can still do that. Or you can go online, right? But the dictionary still works. And so they live this life. And then they're still voting alongside the rest of us, where they're not seeing, they don't wake up with the news that John Bolton's house got searched. And so they form their opinions based on not even just a bubble, just on this life that they get to live. And that's been troubling me all week about how can I break through to those people in my life, or your life, or our life. Do you have any of that going on?
All the time, man. All the time. We touched on this originally I saved it here in the old ANYTIME notes.
Right.
There should be like a Blue's Clues-esque theme for whenever I open up the notes app. Somebody with some skill, please put together a song when I open up my notes app. And it was from a Kelsey Mosley Morris on Blue Sky, who wrote, I think what's so hard about trying to make people understand this political moment is that it fundamentally doesn't make any sense unless you're extremely online and have been for the better part of a decade. That was the genesis thought. And we talked about it a little bit off air. Everything that you just said resonated very deeply with me. It's a big problem in my family as well, and in the surrounding friend circles too. It's just like you said, it makes you feel like you're going crazy, because then you have the, well, how are you not enraged by this? They're like, oh, what are you talking about half the time? Sometimes it's not even bad. Sometimes there is a little bit of a, and sometimes it comes with snark, but I don't even necessarily mean that. Like because there does exist you're always online and that's why you're angry. Why don't you just like unplug, like go live?
Grass.
Like they still think that it's fake. They still think that we're back in like early message boards or like original launch version World of Warcraft. Like they don't understand really what it's become. And
that's a great point, actually. I hadn't really picked up on that, and I like it that there is still sometimes that view. You know, I make the jokes of, you know, when Harloff and Ellis launched the review show on YouTube, we didn't just snicker behind their back to their faces. We said, what are you guys doing on YouTube talking about movies? And there's some people that 15 years later still would reach out to me and be like, are Harloff and Ellis still doing that internet thing? And it's like, yeah, look around. Yeah, we all are. Yeah. And so it's that what you're talking about too, where like, get offline. Like it doesn't matter. Like that's how we fucking live. You're not living. You're not plugged in. You don't know. Anyways, continue.
You're right. They think it's fundamentally comes down to them thinking that it doesn't matter. That's usually the root cause of it. Then you get a little bit older, and some of those older folks, like in our lovely thumbnail, that they think, well, it's they think that it's just like a complete fiction, or they don't understand, or they think it's a toy, and that's caused whatever angle they're coming at that from. It's caused this disconnect where it's like, I woke up today, and you know, and I'll just give some personal examples of things. First of all, this show comes to you live on Dua Lipa's 30th birthday. So that was the first point of order for me when I got on the internet today. Okay. Dua Lipa's 30th birthday.
I don't know.
You had to process that for a moment. You had to take that in, really.
She's so young.
30 whole years. Yeah, she's the same age as Alden, your friend. We're within months of each other. We're peers.
You're so young.
We graduated high school the same year.
Look, man.
And she's selling out Wembley, and I'm not.
I'm still dealing with the fact that when Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, first won a Super Bowl title in 1992, his team, led by Jimmy Johnson, wins their first title under his regime. He was almost exactly the same age as me, 49. And I look at the photos, I'm like, that's an 80-year-old. But he was 49 at the time. And then also, what have I done with my life?
Yeah. Anyway, that's a big one. We can talk about how celebrity ages F with you. We'll table that one because that could be a whole thing. But Dua Lipa's 30th birthday, and then the immediate whiplash. And I'm laughing about that, but it is a real, like, the immediate whiplash of Ron DeSantis and the Florida government paving over the Rainbow crosswalk outside of the Pulse Memorial, where the Pulse nightclub shooting happened. In an outright open act of homophobia and bigotry and hate, like, because they can just do that, and then they can just say things like, well, we're not into politicizing things, even though what they are doing is inherently political, because DeSantis is a fascist, and we all know that. So that to me is like, that's how I start my day, with that immediate like, oh yeah, something happy and cool over a celebrity that I like, and then immediately like, oh yeah, we're victimizing everybody. And then you scroll again and it's a baby elephant, and then you scroll again and it's children being bombed, and then you scroll again. And I grew up in that, so it causes even more of a frustration when you go to people and they like don't know or don't care, or sometimes they're online a sprinkle, You know, they're on Facebook or something just once in a while, once a week maybe, where they go just to post a photo, and it trickles down to them eventually. But by the time it does, it's so warped and stupid, and it's lost all meaning. Or they get like a, you know, it's like a great example is like flood happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're all angry about the flood. I'm just using a
Mm-hmm.
flood as an example. Hurricane,
Sure.
flood, whatever. And we'll be having discussions in the immediate, on the day or the next day,
Or the
about
hour.
disaster
Right.
relief, or the hour, or, you know, oh, the Trump admin's going to withhold disaster relief funds out of an vengeful ego trip or whatever. And we'll have all this anger about people being hurt right now. And some people don't engage with the fact that this happened until it's an AI picture of a dog in a boat the next week. And it's
Right.
like, that is a level of disconnect that like we can't undo. Like, again, this is one of those topics we're bringing up without a solution, because it's like,
just want to
how
discuss
could there
it.
be a solution? Yeah, how could there be? It's insane. It's maddening that we live in different, not just realities, but we live at different speeds of time.
Yeah. No, I bring it up because it's just like, it's on my mind. Because again, it's like I'm trying to, I don't know. You try to break through. It's not even just break through the algorithm, but break through the people in your life, or just I can't recommend enough the YouTube channel Climate Town, as I often do. And their last video that I think Rowley and the team put out a week and a half ago was all directed at Joe Rogan misreading and then misrepresenting an article about climate change, and specifically a graph about climate change. And they broke down in a good, funny way that was very snarky and snide towards Joe, but also kind of like not in the way you'd think, because it went beyond that. But it was about here's how the information gets spread, which that's not a surprise. But then it's in my lap and I'm like, okay, then what? I don't have the tools to go take this to the people in my life. How do I get them to see what they're falling for? You talk about like the smidge stuff. And I don't know if this is exactly what you're meaning, but it's when like you're at the dinner table or something, and then, well, Elon did this because blank, and it's like, no, he didn't. And then it's something like, oh, you just don't like him. No. That's not, yes, but that's not about that. I'm talking about a fact. You've just said something that's not a fact.
Yeah.
But they live in that world and they're not on, and it doesn't affect. I don't know. Yeah, no solution needed. It's what I was going through this week.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like a lot of it comes down to this, as many things do in life, a for me, not for thee attitude too, where like they, you know, there's a sensitivity almost about ego, or about that like insisted to me one time that AOC, and in that moment, I just had a weird freeze glitch. So I don't know if I froze or someone else did.
Maybe we both did. So,
but maybe we both did. Irrelevant.
Pick up where you were saying. Say what were they saying about AOC? I didn't pick up the rest of it.
So they were at my house and they were saying that there was thank you. The comments right behind Alden cut out. Yes, I'm back now. There was this whole thing about like it was a fake AI audio of like her. Again, she didn't say it, but like the fake voice was saying that she said something about the sun or whatever, that like the sun was like getting colder, or like something that she absolutely did not say. And they were telling me that she said it. And I had already seen like some chatter about a fake quote. So I was like, all right, a 2-second search reveals obviously that this is a fake thing. And then when confronted with that information, they start to laugh it off. They're like, well, okay, yeah, well, it doesn't matter anyway. Like,
doesn't matter.
So it only matters when it helps underline and highlight your bullshit. It doesn't matter that we can break it down and explain that it's not real, how we got here, what it means. Like there's a whole like ecosystem to this that is extremely frustrating. But thank you, David McKay. Chris Cuomo retweeted thinking it was real. That's not the one that I'm talking about. I'm talking about something a while ago, but this also is something that Cuomo sharing this, and then her calling him dude, and then him, of course, big tough man, freaking out that she called him dude and having a Twitter meltdown and everything. And like, it's absolutely mad. Cuomo, who goes on a podcast with Adam Friedland and calls him to his face a self-hating Jew, in the name of supposed anti-Semitism about Palestine. But of course, that's not anti-Semitic. You know, that's not anti-Semitic. So that's a whole other conversation. I just wanted to throw that in there because I'm getting real sick of, you know, pervert 1 and pervert 2 not knowing how to shut the fuck up. or as Mamdani said, well, you know, Chris Cuomo doesn't know how to take no for an answer, or Andrew Cuomo.
No, doesn't know that no means no.
Doesn't know how no means no.
Absolute slay. That round 10 goes to Mamdani.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how many times do you need to get beat down, old man? So frustrating. But
stay down.
Yeah, all this is just it's maddening because it's like I've said this to my mother and sister a lot, where it's like, we're here now. Occasionally you have somebody that realizes how bad it is, right? You know, one of my mom's friends will be on the phone like, this is crazy. This is just so beyond the pale and everything. And I feel insane because it's like, I've been saying these things to you all for 10 years. And you all put me in the box of, well, Alden's just angry. He just wants to fight everybody, this, that.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. It's like, I paid attention. I did what I was taught to do.
And I think there's a lot, and we've talked about this before, we'll talk about it again, but and I bring this up a lot, and we've talked about it on The Blathering too, with producer Steve bringing up some great points about history. I'm obsessed with the real history, and I bring this up a lot, but I was, 10 years or so ago online, but online to promote and have fun, which, by the way, I still am, and I still think you can be. But when people would say, hey, this is happening, right, we got to worry about this, whether climate change, Trump, anything, say police brutality, anything over the years. This is like 10 years plus ago. I when faced with it, it was a lot easier to be like, come on. And I understand too, I still can have those strains. Part of growth is understanding that and understanding hopefully your weaknesses. And I'm still going to have it about my pizza toppings and soccer. But when it comes to things that actually matter in the world, I hope I have a better perspective. And again, still, you know me long enough. You could sometimes it flares up, and I got to be able to control it. Where those folks they've stayed in that area because it's so much easier. That I know. But
what flare-ups are you referring to, Ken? Are you referring to when you came on this show and I can't remember what it was, but you were so frustrated that you were. Oh no, well, you were frustrated. You were like incensed in a good way. You came on and you were like, "Yeah, I was watching the Hunt for Bin Laden documentary."
Oh yeah,
and I got so into that it made me want to vote Bush again. I'm joking, of course. Yeah, but that's what I think of when you say Ken.
I dare you to watch that doc and not go back in time and vote for Bush.
Oh, W. We need to talk. We'll table this too because this is big. Maybe next week, the Gen Z like social media W comeback that has been happening, which should not be happening, that I don't like. That like there's like W fan cams and like edits and like all his funniest quotes and like set to cool songs and the watch this drive, but like they're not being ironic. They're just like things are so bad that they're like, look at this guy, he was like fun and dumb, and it's like no, bad, very bad.
I'll give him I will always give him the watch this drive. It's one of the most surreal.
It is objectively funny, but yeah.
But okay. I haven't seen that. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. But it's a lot. I mean, there's lots of good chatter in the comments here. I wanted to bring up Scotty brought up a point here that said y'all should talk about parasocial relationships with this topic. And then, backed up by Molly. Molly, someone who never has to deal with people, just treating her like a internet celebrity. Certainly,
I have a parasocial relationship with Molly and Alex too. More Molly, let's be honest, and Myrtle the turtle.
Yeah. And
so
Myrtle,
maybe I'm Myrtle
the turtle Damon might be the best part of Instagram at this point of the whole app.
It's pretty good.
I could delete the whole app if not for that. I mean, it's like. That does tie into in less serious but also important ways, I think, and it's good to bring up because the terminally offline, as we have called them, also don't understand that. So it's like you'll have somebody that, and I'm going to be very careful with how I approach this next topic. This topic might be more difficult to talk about than some of the war crimes happening right now, and that topic is, of course, Taylor Swift, and this kingdom that she has. I know. Careful. It's crazy. You have to be. You can't. You got to be. This is when I become a hacky comic. You can't say anything. You can't say anything about Taylor Swift. It's like Taylor Swift has this unparalleled, and it's very seriously, you could make an argument that it is Beatles, Michael Jackson level. Like, we haven't seen that level of just world shaking. That like her tour has the economic impact of a small nation.
Yep.
Proven that she has had concerts that have shown up on the Richter scale. Like, it really is just like a generational thing. And so with Taylor Swift, it's like sometimes like her existence, can cause a little bit of eye rolling. And I want to be very careful and say it's not her, but it is some of the culty behavior around her. And being online, you encounter that and it causes an eye roll. So if you're out with people and someone mentions Taylor and then you're like, oh, Taylor Swift, it's like they might think that and this is when you should be careful about how you react to things and what you say, of course, caveats, but like they don't understand that we are reacting to two different things. And that's you're not online as well. Like you're not watching adults spending their free time whining and screaming and posting and sending hate to people that they think she might have an issue with, or that she might have written a song about, as if they're soldiers. And it's like that comes around because it's like that parasocial relationship with her is something that you can only perceive if you're perceiving it. And it's with everything. I just picked the biggest example, but it's like that happens with our fandoms, obviously, in a big way. It's I don't like this person. Why not? Well, because they wrote the episode where this happened. And it's like, oh, so you don't like fictional events that happened. And again, we can get into a place where enough proof comes out about a person that's different. Of course, we've seen that with some big British authors in recent months of differing crimes. But it's a lot. And I have, we joke, but I have seen it with like, YouTubers we know. Maybe they're in the chat. But like other people where it's just like, give them a break. Let them exist. Let them be there. They're not on the clock. And that's also a behavior that you won't understand, if you're offline. Like I've never been like a celebrity, we're not, I'm known by 50 people maybe, and many of them have my phone number, so that doesn't even really count. But like,
and one's Dua Lipa.
And God, I wish. There's a fan line that will text you every single time that happens. It's like the best part of my day. And it'll feel like it's like, here's a preview of my new single, and I'm just like, this is the best friendship I have. This ranks higher than all these people.
You should just start dating a chat GPT at this point. Come on.
I should, I should embrace it. I should become Joaquin Phoenix and her. But it's like, I have felt sometimes the pressure of like, I always have to be on, I always have to do this, or, I have to be a certain way, or it's exhausting to whatever. I'm sure you feel that. You're on air 6 times a week, if not more. And it's just like, I always have to be the public facing Ken. And that becomes depleting. And people in our lives that aren't involved with the internet at all won't understand why it's depleting. And then they're like, well, why? You're not doing hard work. And that also is part of the disconnect that comes with the social aspect of it.
Yeah. I don't know what to do. I think you're right. I don't know what to do with that. They don't understand how shitty it is that my backlight died today. That I don't have my backlight. They don't get why. They don't get why.
They don't understand. They don't care about your backlight.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't care about your backlight. That backlight was woke. That's why it burned. That's why it turned out. Because of wokeness, of course.
Please do me a favor. Do not attend or patronize those woke museums, okay? Please don't.
You mean like the Smithsonian? Woke museums like that?
The biggest museum. Yeah.
The one in the nation's capital?
Yeah.
It really be
but even that, right? Like, this is part of the, again, not a solution podcast. This is let's all come together and talk about what's going around. But he the false prophet, puts out That puts out, just word comes out of it, whatever, from a Truth Social post about these, woke museums, essentially, because they even teach that slavery is bad. Like, and so we all have a week of, can you believe it? And then there's the folks that just have no idea, but they're still going to support and vote for him. And I'm just like, I have no false hope that they would see that and change. I'm just saying that's part of the battle that we're in. That's part of this fight that's going on just online or in our own lives, or whether we take to the streets or not. But it's like, that's why those people are like, why would you be upset about that guy? And you're like, look at this. And they're like, and they have no idea that exists. And then if they hear it, they might go, I mean, he's got some points.
And when that stuff does trickle out, like we said, like I'm only a smidge online people, usually, the over 40s or over 50s. Like, I had a guy, older guy, white hair. No, you're safe. Not you. This is way worse than anything you could ever be, because this was a Florida man. This is the dark side. This is a real Gollum-esque creature who is way too far gone. And he was like, well, like, he's gonna get all that woke crap out of here.
Right.
And I'm like, I just looked at him and said, what do you mean? And he was like, well, all that woke crap that they're teaching our kids. I said, yeah, but like, what do you mean? Like, can you define that? And he was just like, you know what I mean. And that right there is part of the disconnect too, because they adopt terms. They just acquire opinions, regurgitate them out. It's like, Star Wars fans do that. Music fans do that. It happens, on all levels, but it is, it's extremely frustrating to have to realize that even though online is in a lot of ways the actual battleground now. I mean, we saw the richest man in the world online buying an election for a pedophile. And then it's like, and they don't realize how crucial that component was. They don't realize how crucial the podcasting element was, as much as I hate the fact that the podcast element was crucial. Like, we had an off-air conversation about this the other day. That's a kind of a different topic, so I'm not going to go too far down the road, but like, the podcasting as a medium has been so squeezed, because it used to be that there were only C and D list celebs that did it, that were like the forefathers of it. Like, full respect to Mark Maron, full respect to Kevin Smith, but it's just like, they were not household names. They were cult names. They were indie names. They were, if you cared about movies and comedy, you knew who they were, but they weren't, what we have now, where it's like the Kelsey brothers are doing a show and I have to read about it every 20 minutes. And it's like that.
And Jason Kelsey's wife is doing a show that.
Yeah, who's like an idiot, right? Like she's an idiot.
Okay. She's okay. No, she's okay. She's also.
Oh no! It's the other guy's wife. There's a football wife who I know is a major idiot. Maybe is it Mahomes' wife? Is that who it is?
Oh, Brittany Mahomes. Yeah. I don't think she has a show yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yet. Yeah, it's inevitable, right? And like, once we added all of that, and every comedian that can't actually be funny came in and everything, like, it became this, like, now the people that were actually building it, the hobbyists, are being squeezed out. And there's these like $3 million deals, $5 million deals that are being cut. It did become the main, broadcast medium in this country, for better or worse. But without any of the rails or requirements or qualifications that legacy broadcast media requires. And of course, I'm using requires loosely because Fox does exist. So it's like, obviously you could be hacky and get in many different avenues, but they don't understand that, like, again, like those same cousins I referenced, they're telling me like, well, on the new Rogan, but they have no idea what that means, what that has done to people.
It is a bigger version. I've said this before, but like growing up, my news source was Weekend Update. That was my news source, because I knew the news. But parents didn't talk about it with me. But I found out the Berlin Wall collapsed because of Dennis Miller and a joke there. And everyone can make their jokes about Dennis Miller, who he is now, blah, 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 whatever.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
But back then, like, that was my source of news. And I viewed news as a punchline. I view news, and so it was easy to look down about it. Because look at the recent Jay Leno comments about, why you fans have the audience. Like, meanwhile, everyone brings up all his old jokes. But my point to you all is yeah, that wasn't viewed as political. It was just viewed as what
Mhm.
you did.
Yeah.
You made fun of Monica Lewinsky to the point of maybe having her, step off this planet herself, because it's just jokes. And I think going to your point up top, what's happened the last 5-6 years or more, but I think the last 5-6 years, 10 years, is the rise of this direct form of communication. And it's not about right or left and the left needs of Joe Rogan. I just think
Yeah.
there's a lot of like, oh, it's just podcasting. It's just stand up.
Hmm.
And that is, the influence is very deep and hard to untangle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Rogan becomes a news source. And he is a news source for these folks.
And I think with that, it's like the amount of that has also turned it into background noise. Like it's almost just a fact that it's out there. Like it's a fact
Yeah.
now that you open up a social media app and you're going to see a podcast clip if you scroll long enough, right? Like that just becomes this, it's like part of the wallpaper that you're going to see guys on a couch. And again, and this is not always bad. It happened to me today with Christian Ruvalcaba was my guy on a couch today, where it's like I opened up Instagram and I saw a clip from Wangers and I was like, oh, a clip from Wangers. I watched it and I moved on with my life because it was just like, that's just something that happens. It gets fed to you as much as cat videos used to get fed to us, 15 years ago in a better time. But it's like that has always sort of been a function of it. But you look at the days when it was like, when Carlin was at the top of his game and he was kind of singled out as being an angry individual force because he was one of the only people doing it that way. Whereas like if you plucked him out of time and placed him now, it wouldn't feel as out of place because everybody's trying to do that now, whether it's right or left. Like everybody has a voice. It's a double-edged sword. Like everybody has a voice and that's good, but everybody has a voice and that's bad.
Yeah, and this comes up a lot. And I talked about it on Bladder last night because watching Rich Eisen return to Sports Center was fun and nostalgic, but also reminded me of a time when we had a little bit more standards for how this goes out. Doesn't mean it was perfect. We had a lot of standards when Fox News hit the scene. I'm just saying it brought me back to a time when I thought about the death of experts. But I also love, you and I are doing this. I've thanked digital media for giving me a career, even though whatever I have is vanishing fast. But like, it changed the game. So I'm never going to want to walk it back. I'm glad we're here. It's just how we look at it. Yeah, I want to. It's a quick side note. Tully's very right. We could go down. Love when Marin ripped Howie Mandel for doubting how influential all this stuff can be. I actually think, for side note, but like Mark Maron going on his promotional tour for both the end of WTF, but also his latest comedy special, Panicked. I suggest you all watch it if you'd like some good comedy. I think it's really good. But all the stuff about Theo Von, all the stuff about this, it was good. It was fun. It was good to see. And Comedy Civil War, blah, blah, blah. But him going after Howie in a way of like, hey, we're in the heat of the moment because Howie is old school. Howie was a good comic back in the day. I haven't seen him in a while, but Howie earned a spot legitimately in a different time. But
the voice of Gizmo, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But to have him, Howie be like, yeah, but is comedy really that influential? Is a true perspective from someone like him in the 80s, even though it was very powerful in the 80s. But it was just, again, it was just viewed as the clowns in the corner. And everyone ended up listening. And so what Maron's trying to point out is, yeah, we do have influence. Are you dumb? Are you not flipping on Instagram? And every other person, me included, is putting up a stand-up clip? It's everywhere. It is influential. And that goes back to, again, your point of everyone kind of a certain generation or a certain perspective being like, that little internet thing.
Yeah. Scotty has one here. The disrespect that Tommy Thayer gets is absolutely insane. And I know he's half joking when he says that, but he also isn't wrong. That like, I said music fans, right? Like when you look at, we're talking about Kiss, by the way, everybody. This is the current, and well, I guess not even current because they're technically not a band anymore, but like the final guitar player for Kiss. We have seen that, right? Where it's like, it just became an opinion that like, well, the new guys suck. They'll never be as good as the old guys, which is just demonstrably false if you actually listen to the music. But like that does become one of those things where it's like, it's adopted in. Then you talk to Kiss fans at a concert and like, there's this disconnect again of who's online, who's not, what the culture is. People in the comments demanding that I walk back what I said about Kylie Kelsey, a person that I did not know existed until today.
You just didn't know. You're seeing two blonde or blondish WAPs or WAGs
WGs, yes.
in football, wife and or
Yes.
girlfriend, and your which by the way is I'm going back to 2002 Maxim era with that, fully
Sure.
understanding.
Well, they had a reality show called that, so it's really not on you.
Yeah, it's not on me, but Anna Benson was the start of all that. Anyways,
so if people want my formal apology to Kylie Kelsey, my apology.
I'm just what I'm saying is you don't know.
And also, on top of not knowing, I don't care. That's the other thing. I also don't care. I don't care about the Kelsey enterprise. I don't care about their whole thing. I don't care about homeboy that can't read and whether or not he'll marry this woman. I don't care.
I think he will.
I'll tell you what I do care about. I care about the fact that they are posting bro pics with one of the people that helped Trump get elected. But because they have the shield of homeboy's future fiance, no one says anything about it. I care about that.
I didn't see who.
I care about them being MAGA adjacent.
Who did they post to it?
Those two brothers or whatever. Somebody will jump in the comments immediately and say, but like the Kelseys are friends with these bros that do that show that Trump went on or whatever, and blah 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 blah. I don't know, and that annoys me. That it's just like, you know.
I think I know the brothers you're talking about. Yeah.
That annoys me because it's a lack of accountability. Because again, it only matters when it's something that supports them. Like it's, you know, but if we're like, hey, that's harmful that you're platforming that, well, whatever, man. It's just opinions, you know. It's just it's whatever. Like they're just doing a podcast. It's like, you know, podcasts largely, unless it's anytime, should be abolished. I will say. It was not the Island Boys.
Don't say that. You're bringing down a curse upon us. You're putting a pox on our village with that kind of car.
Never mind.
David's right. So actually, Wags comes from Victoria Beckham in the English football team, and since Maxim has UK roots, that's probably right. I just think Anna Benson, who's the wife of Chris Benson of the Pittsburgh Pirates, exploded out here in America.
So yeah, I mean, I don't really have much more to say about the whole internet thing, other than it makes me depressed. It makes me depressed to feel like I'm the only one in my immediate circle that cares. I'm talking about real life circle, not online. I know some of the people in the comments are technically in my immediate circle.
Well, does that count? Does that count?
I guess that's the thing. That's another thing.
Is your friend group mostly people you know? I'm not saying online like you've met in the comment sections. You guys communicate regularly. That's possible now. Yeah. Where's your life balance at? And by the way, this sounds like I'm criticizing you. I'm wondering. Because I'm wondering the same thing.
It's a good point. It's a really good point. And I'll tell a brief anecdote. When I was back in not my hometown, but the town I spent most of my youth in South Florida over the holidays, I was hanging out with my buddy Gabe, who I've known since we were 14. He's one of my best friends. We talk all the time. Love this guy like a brother to me. But while hanging out with him, I would be responding sometimes to a group chat of people online, and I would show him. I showed him something. I was like, "Oh, look at this! My friend just sent me," and he was like, "Oh, who sent that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's my friend that I know from online." And he's like, "Oh, so you guys you took it out of the Discord or whatever, because he has like Discord buddies that he'll game with,
right?
But they do not exchange phone numbers. Yeah, they don't have each other's phone numbers. They're not going to each other's weddings. They're not sharing hotel rooms. They're not, and it's like." I told him, I was like, "No, man, like I have all of you. I have all of you, and I'm blessed to have lots of real life friends that I've held on to for a long time. But I have probably at this point an equal amount of people that came from the internet, yourself included. Yeah. And it's like I hold them almost equal. It's just how we met. And like there used to be, I think, more of a separation. Of like, oh, those are internet people. But now it's like, I met Ken online, and I say that with equal weight to I met that person at work. It's
yeah. No, but this goes into what is accidentally our thesis topic for the day is the looking down upon that. Yeah. I mean, dude, remember this is where I will say that I'll pull the you were a little too young card. But when like online dating emerged. Holy shit, man. That was like, what are you, a freak? What are you in your basement? You got to use online to go meet people. And then slowly it becomes acceptable. I think we're at a spot where, I do not doubt that your friendships with Scotty, Jared, Jerry, those groups are aren't real and solid. It is just, I also, I have those kind of friends too, you included. But there's great value of being in person. There's great value of being able to go for that walk. You're able to get that breakfakfast. And then I fear for some of you. You're all a little too isolated for my taste, and I want you to all be moving in one big house together. But anyways, I don't know the whole point of that. It just was
in person. No, in person is still different though, and still I would think better. So that it does bring in another factor. But if you have any closing thoughts on this, let me know.
On you meeting some people in real life, I'm really hopeful. I'm really hopeful.
Man, God, I am too. At this point, I am too.
No,
but there's something.
It's just
I was gonna say there's something to be said. There's something to be said for the fact that you can do that. Like I think that you would think, right, that like our friendship, using it as an example, that it would show people that it's possible, but some of them still it doesn't compute, and I don't know if they're intimidated by the internet or if they assume the worst of everybody. I don't know.
Yeah, I like I said, I like solution-based thinking. I don't necessarily need solution-based conversations here for a podcast. It just has been on my mind as we try to move forward as best we can. And to me, seeing a genocide unfold in front of your face and then a cute rabbit in the next post is okay to me. That's just how we live now, and it might not be something we're built for, but that's where we're at. But it's taking that and trying to plug in the people that aren't plugged in is the ongoing struggle and where I'm at in my life this week. So no answers, just thoughts.
Just thoughts, but there's a natural segue there into something else that we noted that we wanted to discuss, and we talked about friendships and everything. There was a study going around this week, and I will say I appreciate this study because it used a picture of Janice and Damien from cult classic, or not even cult classic, I'm just gonna say classic comedy Mean Girls, a film which you might think, is that really a classic at this point? Ken, that film is 21 years old. So at this point it could be a classic. Shout out Tina Fey, shout out Tim Meadows. And it said, study shows the strongest friendships come from hating the same people and things. And we wanted to talk about that because oh boy, is it just the truest thing that has ever been said.
It's so
oh my goodness,
goddamn true.
Now
it's so true.
Again,
why?
I'll use our friendship as an example.
Yeah, are we just shitty people? I'm not just saying you and I. I'm just saying everyone in the world.
Well, you and I possibly, but like in general, I don't think that's true. I think great people get bonded by this. But if we are focusing on us as an example, you and I became friends in 2019. That's when we met, and we had a cordial, just like, hey, love your work, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we should do something. We recorded together like once that year, and we had a nice little back and forth. We did not become like friends until we realized that we had the same frustrations about Star Wars fandom and just internet podcasting and different things. We're not going to get any specifics here. You're not going to get any juicy deets, but like there were things that would come up that we were just like, yeah, what the hell? And you realize like that is the biggest, quickest, and most thorough way to bond with somebody. Bonded by hate, almost to the point now where it's like I can see something or vice versa, and I know it's going to make you angry. It's going to make me angry, whatever it is. I have this with some of the friends that I hold the dearest in my life. I have a friend who I've known her again since I was 14. I love her to death. She's like a sister. She had an ex-boyfriend that had like cheated on her or whatever, and now is like engaged to the one that he cheated on her with or whatever. Not important. He's an asshole. But it was the second that he posted about being engaged to this woman that I knew I would be talking to my friend that day. I knew. And sure as shit, like a couple hours later, I got the text and I laughed and I said, I knew that hate would bring us back together. Like we hadn't talked at that point in like a couple months, but like I knew that hate, nothing motivates us more than hate. Being a hater,
suffering.
It's so beautiful. Like I know it's not good for us and everything, but like it's just awesome.
It is also why, as much as I can sit here and get a little grumpy of my position in the digital media space, versus where I thought it should be. A lot of that has to do with my own failings and work ethic or things just not going my way, blah, 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 blah. But it is a constant frustration against others who have bonded on a larger level based on hate, right?
Yeah.
And I like to build those bonds professionally over maybe what we enjoy, despite fun stuff. And I can't stress enough, I love having a conversation about why In-N-Out sucks. But at the end of the day, I don't give two shits. Unless I have In-N-Out, then I give three. But my point being, like, it's just fun. Being on the joke. The blathering is a joke, but with sincerity. You know when it pops up. You know when it's a bit. You know when we're having fun radio. But to see people bonded over hate over a, I don't know, studio head at Lucasfilm, I understand where that comes from because we all have it too.
Yes.
And I saw that report. I just started laughing because you're right. You and I became better friends when I watched you out there in the Twitter sphere, and I was like, oh, he's fighting that fucker. Let me reach out to Owen and be like, hey, I think that's a fucker. And I like that you're fighting that fucker. And it just, boom, it was a Ultimate Warrior, put the fuel in the rocket ship, and we're going up to space.
Oh, it's the best. We are the mega powers of hate. In a lot of ways, except not like the actual mega power who just died, who was full of actual hate.
Can we both try to be like Macho, who's the best of the two?
A double Macho mega power. What about more of a Sting Luger situation? Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe
hard to say.
They're both too Christian for my taste now. But
yeah, I was gonna say maybe we could be the Hardy Boys because our backs hurt now, like theirs do.
Yeah,
like it's
maybe,
they're not the young guns anymore. But
anyways, yeah,
regardless, it's real. It's real, and it was funny to read, but also just very heartening. Like I have been referred to by some of my friends as an Olympic level hater, which I take some pride in. There was a really
you're an Olympic level. You're a gold medal ML hater.
I will tell a funny anecdote, and I really hope that Alex and or Molly are still in the chat. I hope they're listening. If not, I'll tell them later. There was a really funny moment in Japan when Alex Damon of Star Wars Explained, of course,
heard of him,
was looking at his phone and saw something that like made him roll his eyes, and he wanted to show me, but before he showed me, he took his phone and he did this, and he said, "Alden," and he goes, "Wait. Before I show you this, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to make you angry, and I don't want to spend a bunch of time talking about it. I'm on vacation, and I don't want to talk about politics, but I just wanted to show you because I know you'll feel the same way I do." And then he showed me, and sure as shit, I did, and we had a good laugh about that because it's just like, you just know. Like, I can never be confident if somebody, well, that's not true. Sometimes I can be, if someone's going to like something, but I almost feel like there's more surety in knowing that they're going to dislike something. It's just lovely. Yeah. It's just really nice. I think that disliking some of the same things, dogging on the same things, thinking that a certain artist or certain thing is not good, like it brings out a level of honesty that positivity doesn't.
But I do think, there's a shared joy. Like if you love the movie Young Guns, like we're automatically gonna be a little closer as friends. Yeah. I'm trying to, that article, I loved the article. I thought it was so true. So I think, and a lot of, it was funny too, is a lot of the breakdowns I've had in my friendships over the last 5-10 years, in which I've done a lot of changing, boiled down to that. We no longer have a shared hate of something, right? Including, say, a political party or mask mandates or something, where it's like suddenly that person you love, who you have a shared history with, is like, I ain't wearing no mask. And you're like, well, you're an idiot then. And then suddenly you don't have that shared hate. And I find that they're always like, what? Like there's that kind of this like unbelievable, like but we used to both hate this political party. Now we don't. And we lose the connection. It's pretty fascinating to watch it from that side about change and growth. And speaks to, again, that we're all, at the end of the day, just looking for someone to hate with.
That's it. It's a deep bonding thing. And sometimes it can, I will say, in the spirit of fairness, sometimes it can be unfair of us to hold people to the standard of the hate that we originally perceived them with. Like
Yes. Yes.
sometimes when that person has less hate, that's good, and we should be happy for them. Like we
Oh
should
yeah.
be happy that
Yeah.
they aren't that thing anymore.
Yes.
But what it is you miss your friend. Like you miss
You miss your friend.
those times. You miss that period of life. You miss that laughter or whatever that thing is. Like I actually, I'm so funny that I'm having this realization in real time. I just said the other day about someone in my life that I think my exact words were they used to pick fights. They used to be punk rock. Like they used to stand up for things. And now they're just posting about their vacations or whatever, and like they're not speaking up. And then I was like, but shouldn't I be happy for them? Like, shouldn't I be happy that they're
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
vacation, that they have some sort of peace or
Yes.
whatever? And then it's like, what I'm really saying is I miss them.
Yes.
Like that's really what it is I miss you.
It's
Missing is very dangerous and hard to quantify.
you're getting to, I think, a core of a lot of even what we're talking about overall today, that I love these kind of realizations. You're having something too of that I'm having, where I've tried and am repairing some bridges with some lost friendships that emerged out of we no longer hate the same things. And it's never that simple. But at the end of the day, that's kind of what happened, right? And this person sent me a picture, like, hey, I'm doing this right now, made me think of you. And I said something along the fact of, yeah, but the person in that photo was like an old photo of us. It was like that person, that Ken died. That Ken's gone. And they shot back, yeah, but that Ken was my best friend. And I remember, and so I softened, was like, you know what? Yeah, but the memories are still there, man. Yeah. We can create new ones. It's just in a new way. And if we're both not on board that new way, then this dies. And I think that's, and what I had to understand was exactly what you're talking about. It's not about the policies, the pick, all that stuff. And obviously I'm not going to stand by people who, spew real hate into the world, but like, he just missed me.
Yeah.
Me. And in a way, I miss him too. So how can we build something new?
That's hard, man. It's really hard. And the nerd part of my brain, when you described that, you said that Ken's dead. I saw you in a black cape saying, like, you didn't kill Ken Napthok. I did.
I did.
I did.
In a great lightsaber fight that should be at least A tier.
We put it in S. You'll be happy to know.
I know
that it made it to the highest tier because it's the best one. It's better than Mustafar. Way better than Mustafar. It's hard, man. I've been thinking a lot about missing people for a different nerdy lens. I mentioned this on Anytime a couple weeks ago. I watched a Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, and you don't need to be a Star Trek person to understand what I'm about to say. But we all remember, or at least know of, the DS9. He's never doing it anymore. He's never doing it.
I'm never watching that show.
It's never happening. It's not going to happen. I tell you that as someone who knows.
I'm going to rewatch The Hunt for Bin Laden before I even touch a second of DS9.
That's 100% true. You know how the hours that it takes to watch DS9, he could watch Last of the Mohicans 30 times. And that is way more likely. But I watched Search for Spock. You all remember, or if you don't remember, you at least are aware of it because it's one of those movie moments of Spock dies in Star Trek 2. And he puts his hand on the glass, and we've all seen that image.
It's great.
Star Trek 3, in a move that they would absolutely rip to shreds now with the way modern fandom is, brings Spock back immediately. So much so that they called the movie Search for Spock. It's like, now they would be like, well, it's just a nostalgia play. They can't let go of the old characters. There's no stakes. How am I supposed to believe there's no stakes if he comes back? Anyway, back then we had peace. And so they brought back Spock in the third movie, and rewatching it, Ken, I have to recommend this to anyone looking for like depictions of positive masculinity. William Shatner, funny joke of a man as he may be, gives a performance in that movie that is so sad. Like there's so much melancholy. The first act of that movie is just missing Spock, like shots of an empty room, Kirk in his house, just like head in his hand, like having a drink, like. It's so deeply sad. And by the end of the movie, I started to tear up because I realized like this is a movie that posits in the fantasy way of like, what if you could love someone and miss someone so much that you could actually miss them enough to bring them back. Like, it's like, what if you it was so palpable, and spoilers for a movie that's decades old, in the end the Enterprise explodes, there's no ship anymore, Kirk's son dies, they lose so much, and Spock's father says to him, you know, your ship, your son, you know, about the price he had to pay to bring Spock back. And Kirk says, yes, but if I didn't try, the price would have been my soul. And I started to realize, like, in that moment, I was like, missing people might be the purest expression of humanity that we have. And it is a fantasy of, like, I loved them so much, I would do anything to bring them back. And in sci-fi fantasy, we can do it. You can actually have that wish fulfillment. And so to tie it back to the original conversation, I have more empathy now as I head toward 30, as I rewatch things like Search for Spock, as I have these conversations with you, for the people that miss each other, myself included, where I had an attitude in my early 20s, this will surprise no one who's ever spoken to me, that I used to have well, the bridge is burned and it's ash, it's done. It's like, I crossed it, I burned it, it's over, no takebacks, and no unclaimsies, as they would say and I used to have that feeling about a lot of things. I'm not putting things back together that I've moved on from, because if it ended for a reason, right? You have to be very calculated about it. But now I look back and I'm like, there's not always room for forgiveness, because sometimes it was better that way. Sometimes something really morally unagreeable did happen. But now I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that friend that texts, maybe not that specific friend, who knows, but like any friend that would say something to me or to you or to anybody of like, this made me think of you, that's brave. Because I have had moments when my thumb is hovering over that name and you're like, just send the hey, how are you? Just send the hey, how are you? Just do it. And I don't a lot of the time. So it's brave.
No, I'm glad you said that, because I think I'm going to text him today. I love him dearly, and I do think it is brave, and someone, this particular friend of mine, is at times a prime example of toxic masculinity. But what is also there is a strong positive masculinity that I think he might feel is weak, and I got to give him credit for that. And you're right, it's case by case basis. I definitely think there are times where maybe the reconnection is not happening, or other times where maybe this person, it's time to reconnect and build forward. It's always got to be about build forward. Even in some relationships, romantic, that have been lost over time, it's like I look at that and go like, I didn't lose something, I got to be in something for a period of time, and that doesn't go away. And I have to be Jedi-like and let that go to embrace the new. And the new might include a new rebuilt connection, friendship, relationship, but acknowledging the missing is pretty powerful stuff there. So
it wouldn't be the same thing.
Yeah,
we just miss people. You just miss people. It's just it's painful. Like, it's really it's hard. And I think sometimes, I mean, all these ideas are connected. Everything is connected is a huge theme, and it's something that I rant about. Sometimes I feel like, Charlie Day in the GIF with the strings of like, but like it is, when I'm trying to explain to somebody that Palestine is connected to the mayor race in New York City, is connected to DeSantis in Florida, is connected to AI, is connected, they think you sound crazy. But I think there is sometimes like a more human approach to it, which I think Mamdani touched on, which is just like, get to the root of the idea. Like, don't you want people to have certain things? Don't you want this? And I think the human idea behind like these types of things of like the disconnect sometimes is missing people, afraid of being vulnerable. Maybe that's what prevents people from understanding the online, because it requires you to because it's not just dating apps, right? Like, all of online requires you to be a little bit vulnerable, having a direct line to you. So all three of these big ideas that we touched on today have some shared DNA of vulnerability, or having to admit fallibility, or that you don't know everything. But it's hard.
Just hard. Yeah, no,
We need a
I mean,
hard internet reset. I think we need to take it back to like right as MySpace launched. I think that was a nice little sweet spot.
that was a good sweet spot. There was one.
Yeah.
Well, there was a sweet spot in like 2010 to 2012, but then I look back and it was probably more destructive than we thought because a lot of things took over that maybe we're built wrong. But yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, no, and you touch on something there too. Like it is all connected, and you know, in Force Center we talk about the emotional canon, which is a through line of characters and themes, and I think that's why I get excited sometimes to discover that history, even though it's frustrating, history is this ongoing straight line. It is truly all connected. I mean, hell, when you look at all the states sending National Guard troops to D.C., you're like, oh, the South thinks it's rising again. Here we go. Like we're still fighting 1864. But it goes in this area too of just again on a case by case, not a general sense, but just in our own lives of acknowledging what's going on between us. The divide is a lot of inflamed things, but at the end of the day, it is this fear, it is this missing, or it's these base reasons. And if you can connect with those base reasons, like you said with Mamdani and some of the success, great success he's having, and I do think we'll continue to have unless there's some kind of shenanigans, it gives me a little hope for moving forward on a small level in my own life with people.
Yeah, I would hope so. I hope that there has to be, guys, it's August of 2025. Like we still have so much more to go on this particular road, and everything isn't, I obviously not everything is about the presidency, but it serves right now sort of as like our benchmark of marking time. And it's like, we have to find something to hold on to, not to go from Star Wars to Star Trek to now Lord of the Rings, of course, but it's like it's hard to not think about what are we holding on to, Sam? You know, and it's like, I mean, not the internet, you know, we're not holding on to that, but you're holding on to what you get out of it. Like I think that like, you know, not to get like super saccharine and everything, but I guess actually this is a good way to flow because I did also want to touch on, and I posted on Blue Sky that I wanted to touch on Trump suddenly being concerned with getting into heaven, which is very funny to me. So I want to touch on that, but like to start sort of like that death and letting go and saying goodbye that comes with missing all those elements of it. It's like the reason I bring it up now is an in the moment realization. It's like we're trying to extract out of something mechanical something really beautiful and organic and emotional, which is sometimes work. Like I love you, I love our friendship, and
Love you, man.
when one of us goes, whoever goes first, it's like I don't think the other you don't know that, you really don't know that. You could be one of those guys that's like gets all the way to like 101 102 and you wish you'd gone earlier. Like you never know.
Look, I'll tell you what, at 101, 101, I'm still going to be wearing a beanie and I'm still going to be podcasting, even though the podcast mic will probably be implanted in my sinus cavity and the mic picks up here.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah, you look like that one Neimoidian, the one who's got the extra cybernetics like up here.
Yeah.
Someone say their name. I'm not on the clock right now.
Yeah, where he says they went up the ventilation shaft in a very non-accented way.
Yes, they said it in perfect Cronkite-esque American standard that they went up the ventilation shaft. But I have, I say that because it's like, you know, my first thought, if someone was like, sum up Ken, would not be like, well, yeah, he was a great podcaster. And he had this many followers and he did a lot of good work. And he had so much unique programming and everything. Like none of that stuff that caused our friendship would be the things that I would list first if it came to that. And so I think that that's sort of the pursuit that we're in, is that we're talking about the terminally offline, but in the online, all we really want is to get offline. Does that make sense? Like we're trying to, we're here trying to build an exit. Like we're here trying to get big enough so that you no longer need it. Like you think about the celebrities and like, there's like the celebrity side of it that's pretty like funny and callous, of like actors of a certain status don't use it unless it's like maybe promotional. Like there was a thing this summer of like Scarlett Johansson like in an interview, she said that Universal reached out to her and asked her to make an Instagram, and she was like, "Nah, I'm not doing that." Like, you get to that point where you no longer need it. We're still in the point where we need it, and all we want to do while we're stuck here is find something really, really human, and and like pull it out. And I think that's fascinating, and then transition it into the news of Trump and heaven and everything. I'm gonna be very careful with my words here because I don't want anyone to misconstrue this and say that like I related to him or anything like that. But it was maybe the first time in my 29 years of life where I saw a human being. Maybe. Like,
I know. Can I just say I know what you mean? I know what you mean. It's a weird. I heard it first in audio. I think over on the Majority Report that I saw the clip go around. 100% right. Yeah. And I hope we find out. Right. That's all. As the U2 song goes, we're one step closer to knowing. There's those unfortunate times where I'm like, there's sometimes he's a little funny. You know what I mean? Like that's part of the problem. That's part of the cult of personality that emerged. Is he kind of could be funny, and there was that like, I hope I get into heaven. I'm here and I'm not doing so good, which I actually laughed out loud.
He literally said, I'm at the bottom of the totem pole for getting in. So it was this weird moment of like clarity of like, did the medicine hit just right in this moment where he just like saw himself for real? He looked in the mirror and saw the darkness. Like what happened?
Yes. And like I said, great. I hope we let us know, find out, let us know.
It's incredible.
But I'm with you. I'm with you. All the caveats in the world. I think you all listen to us and know enough to give us the grace on this conversation. But I had this like, is there a moment of clarity? Like, is the grift up for this 2 seconds? It was really weird, and made me think about his ankles even more. But we all face that.
That being said, we're all we had that. It was hilarious. Him thinking that solving the invasion of Ukraine is what will get him his spot is just baffling as a concept. Like, it's just like, imagine being like somebody in either nation, honestly, that whether you're, I don't know if anyone's like really, I don't know what the attitude toward, like, are there pro Putin people or is it just like the party and everyone else? Like, I don't know how it works really. But.
Yeah, they are. It's part of the twist. It's part of the twist where, I've experienced this in my own family where the talking points of but those train stations in Russia are really pretty. Like we're literally doing the trains are running on time thing. Like did you not?
We're doing that.
Did you not read the history books? Okay.
They kept them running. Yeah.
But
even those people, to Zelensky, to somebody actually suffering, must all briefly share what type reaction to that. Like, whether you're like pro the invasion, anti the invasion, and you should be anti the invasion, it's like, oh, this is about his mortal soul? Like someone who's not here? Like, it's fascinating. And so
it's fascinating.
I bring that up to say, with everything that we've talked about as we're winding down now, are you at all, big question, concerned with this for yourself? Or do you think about, like, we talked a lot today about humanity, missing people, vulnerability, realities, information, all this stuff. Do you at all at this point in your life, do you fear death? Are you concerned about it? Do you think about it? Or is it like bottom of your concerns right now?
This is a great conversation I'm about to go have lunch and play Madden. Alden's like, do you think about dying? No, I used to want to, we're on YouTube, right? I used to want to unalive myself. Which, by the way, don't stop criticizing people who do that. It's about their fucking monetization being, I can't even say the word.
No, but
it's about their money being taken away.
You're right on the internet.
For a reason. Yeah.
But it's seeped into articles and books, and that has to stop.
Okay, fair enough. But like, I see a lot of they're saying unalive. Yeah, because they want their channels to exist. Because that's how we pay rent. I used to think about it all the time because I had, 2003, 2004, tried to take my life. Thankfully, did not succeed. I had a 45 caliber handgun to my head in 2004 and was trying to pull the trigger. And fortunately, as my therapist said, well, your impulse control is good. I didn't do it. And I've been depressed off and on. I'm depressed today. I didn't want to wake up today. My future is so cloudy. Depression is real. Depression's a constant battle. But I know I don't want to die. But I'm okay with it because I just think once it happens, it doesn't matter. We'll all figure it out. I kind of have the Tormund Giantsbane Game of Thrones, the dead can't hear us thought behind it. Though, you know, if I go, Alden, please feel free to wander your backyard having a conversation with me. I talked to my dogs. Yesterday was my dog Baxter's birthday. He would have been 18. A good conversation with the idea of Baxter in my backyard. Whether or not I actually think Baxter's running around in doggy heaven listening to me is irrelevant. That moment, having a conversation with the idea of him worked. So I don't have that. So I just know as bad as things are for me and as bad as things are in the world, I do want to live. I do want to live. But you do think about, I actually take it back. I don't think too much about what people will say when I go. I'll be gone. I like hearing some stuff in person. A comic said something very nice to me last weekend. They didn't say you're so funny. They didn't say your shows are the best. They were like, I just want to thank you for every one of your shows. You make all of us feel very welcome, and you have you can feel the intentionality behind wanting to include all of us, because this was one of the hosts of the show, and hosts at clubs get looked over, shit on. They're the help to a lot of other comics. And that's not, I've been in that position. I want to be in that position. That I know is going to be my legacy versus any of the other things. So I just got to accept that and try to live. Try to live. Now to you, Alden. Do you think about death?
All the time. When I was a child, I used to think about it a lot. When I was a kid, I used to say that when I was a little kid, I used to say that I was afraid of dying without doing anything. That was a big fear for me as a kid, was dying like unfulfilled. But then, and I still guess I kind of have that. I think about it sometimes conceptually. I've planned my funeral a bunch of times just like for fun.
Sure.
And, like think about like what I would want, you know. Well, yeah, like I want like a regular like view my corpse line, but then like also single riders, like if you're just trying to check it out and leave, like that's fine. Like you know, just like I just kind of want to see him, and then I'm not trying to hang on.
I hope I hang on long enough to be a single rider at your funeral.
That's nice. Yeah, I think it'll be cool. But I think about it. I think what you said about what that comic said to you is really nice, and I feel like you almost want that's ideal, right? Is that your legacy is like how you improved other people's lives more so than like the things that you did for yourself and everything. And it's hard. It's a big one, and it's like again, like to not to give the horrible monster any credit as a man, but it was just like that. Oh, even the worst of us, like we do stop to like muse about this, even like half jokingly, and I was like thinking about it, like I don't have that in my life where I'm worried about where I'll go. That's not a part of my system. It's not a part of like where I come at it. But I do think sometimes of like, you know, letting go. Is there enough time for anything? Missing things, missing people. It's hard. I just now had an eerie sort of like moment with you across, because I didn't realize that Baxter's birthday and my dog Mando's birthday are the same day.
Oh, yesterday.
Mando's birthday was yesterday.
Yep.
And I had moments with him, even though I was like happy that he's around, where I started to think about what those future things would be like. So I understand fundamentally, like you want to keep the conversation going no matter what. And I don't have anyone who's like tombstone I visit, just because it just hasn't worked out that way yet. But I understand people that do. Yeah. I understand all the cultural stuff around death. I'm fascinated by the way that we all sort of have dealt with it across cultures forever. I think it's interesting, but like legacy wise, I think like it ties into everything we've talked about today. Like you just want to be able to say that like there were people there, you know. Yeah. You don't want to. Yeah, you want it to be somewhat celebratory. You know, it's hard.
You don't want your death to be celebrated like the passing of James Dobson, which we are celebrating here.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I almost forgot. I knew obviously that this was a bad person, just objectively. But because it wasn't in my world experience, which is a good thing, I was
Mm,
not familiar with his impact. I didn't realize it was so
mm,
big. I didn't realize
mm,
it was so
mm-hmm,
widespread. And then
mm-hmm,
I saw independently you,
mm-hmm,
our friend Jerry from the Bombad Cast, a
mm-hmm,
friend of mine named April, and another person who I follow, all separately celebrating this and discussing it academically and like the damage that was done. And like I was like, oh, this was a thing. And then I remembered what you all have in common, and that
mm-hmm,
is
mm-hmm.
some beliefs as children and some systems.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I give my parents some credit. I think they broke some of it a little bit later. But yeah, no, I was as I said on the Blathering yesterday, up until the mid 2000s, I would give James Dobson money. I would give Focus on the Family money because that's where I
Oh,
felt
it's
I needed.
like a
Yeah,
recurring.
I used to listen to him all the time because I just felt I needed some sort of church because I wasn't going to church anymore, and I would drive long into my new job. I'd drive over Laurel Canyon, and you could just tune to the station and listen to Dobson and his people from Focus on the Family
Yeah.
speaking and Focus on the Family. He'd been active for a while, but Focus on the Family launched in '77. I was definitely part of a church where it was like, you got strong-willed kids, you got to beat them into submission, and that definitely had effect. I was part of that generation. So yeah, and it's you talk about real history and talk about history is a straight line. The influence is real. The influence on Reagan and him getting directly to politics, and it's all kind of fascinating from a distance. It's horrifying up close. The homophobia, the Islamophobia, all the stuff that was present in his life. But yeah, it's to my generation and those, give or take a few years each side.
Yeah.
We felt it literally on our asses. His influence.
Well, rotten piss. You know, I'm not. That's one thing about death. This will be my closing thought. I guess I am not somebody that holds on to the old-fashioned notion of don't speak ill of the dead. I don't believe in that. I think you earn the way people speak about you. I think that when it shakes out, because I know that when you know who, finally you know what's. And Lord, please, if that could be our topic next week, it would be fantastic. You end up sometimes in that like nobody wants to like go down into the mud, and I know that there are going to be people when it happens that are like, I know we didn't always agree, but it's not okay because he had it. I'm telling you right now, I don't care. And I'm telling you right now, if that's you, this is not the channel for you because we're doing an 8-hour episode that day. We're doing an 8-hour episode with catering, with calls. Yeah.
But it gets into, and for my audio listeners, this is the same podcast feed. I did discuss it on the Blathering this week, but this is why I love having Anytime here on a Friday to kind of go deeper once my thoughts kind of hit me in an expanded way, and yours
solidify.
The death of Hulk Hogan was a great example. Dobson, some others in the past, and mileage varies. When John McCain passed, I was a fan of McCain to a certain degree, and so I know he went through some things in his life. So I maybe spoke nicely about him, and I probably maybe would again, even though I'm fully aware of a lot of the bad things and the bad legacies. But there's that decorum you're talking about that is gone. And I say thank God for that, but it's hard. It's hard to address that. So it's like there was a lot of when Terry Bollea dies, and I say it again, definitely sorry for his family and friends. There was sadness. I get it, but he doesn't get a pass just because he died.
Yeah,
does not get a pass, and that I think is, generally speaking, a new thought.
Yes,
where pretty new of like that's not proper. Yeah, you're right. And and I get it. And I've come to see it and see that it is about what we're talking about. It is the legacy.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. You know, if you die at 89 and your entire legacy was hurting generations of people, generations of young kids, generations of the queer community, generations of, if that's your legacy, we're going to pin that on you. And that should be much like a head on a spike as you enter town. Be better persons.
You don't gain a new set of like speech rights as a corpse. You don't
Yes.
gain like a new shielding and everything. Like we should have crucified you in life and we didn't. And so now we will. Like that's you're lucky it's happening now when you can't hear it in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
it's it's definitely a thing that I know it's gonna be a day. We have yet to lose a lot of the people that I think are going to cause we've got some celebrations on the calendar, is basically what I'm saying.
It's going to be special edition Return of the Jedi ending.
Yeah, we're gonna cut to every city. It's gonna be canon,
which we won't be. It's not the end of the war, but it's going to be a big battle.
What do you think is gonna? This will be my last question for you because I know we've gone long. But like, what do you think is gonna be the amount of time between it happening? Like, how long are we gonna celebrate before we switch into President Vance? Like, how long do you think we'll have joy? A few hours, maybe.
I think we need to be able to hold two thoughts independently in our head. I think we've won the battle, but the war still must be fought, and it will all be put into one ball of celebration and focus.
Call him Jack Who Vance because we got one more big battle. Take care of 3 to 5 business days or 3 to 7 business days.
Dan 3 to 7 business days.
3 to 7 business days is gonna be my new policy for sure.
Yep.
Oh well.
Yep.
This has been an interesting, heady one. I had fun.
I like it though. I like it, man. It's real and blah 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 blah. I don't know all that good stuff, but happy to be here with you, buddy, and glad we've connected in this hyper surreal online world that we exist in.
I know. It's been a treat. It's been wonderful. Thank you all for having such great conversation in the chat. I know that I didn't pull up as much chat as I normally do, but that's
it's all right. Couple things I did want to acknowledge a super chat from Mr. Plume. This is for Ken only, not the Fortnite Dodger. You're still dodging people in Fortnite. I haven't seen you. This season
I played less in the last few weeks.
This season of Fortnite sucks. It sucks.
It's not my favorite of the three.
It's getting a lot. It's getting a lot of heat. Scotty says the fear of death and fear of life is sometimes equal. I really think that is true. That's maybe a topic for another day or a continuation of what we're talking about. But absolutely, I think
as they say in John Wick 4, those who cling to death live, and those who cling to life die, or something.
Yeah, okay.
That was That was Keanu versus Donnie Yen at the end. It was awesome. Trust me, it was awesome.
Whoa. I think that's true. We'll do it again Friday. Who knows what the topic will be? Fingers crossed. All right. See you next week. Bye.
Bye, y'all.